Chelwood Elementary School, home of the Chiefs. Cheetahs. All right, everybody. Lucky 7 over here doing another video. That's kind of funny. Now I got the sun casting a shadow of the whole setup. We got a little bit of an upgrade. I'm using the MV88. Look at that. I'm gonna have to go over here and shoot this way. I'm using the MV88 and microphone from Shure. It's the Plus Video Kit, and I'm trying out the new microphone over here. I'm over here at Chelwood Elementary School in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's a place that I went back in the 80s, I believe, like 86, 87, maybe 88, definitely 87. But I remember now because my sister was born when I went to school over here, and I went to a little while before that even. So anyway, it's a totally different school now. I don't know, I'm part of a thing called Chelwood Alumni on Facebook, and it's got maybe faculty and students who went here before. Back in my day, it was a totally different school. It was more like a square pattern. Now it looks like the kind of school that I would have wanted to go to when I was a kid. It's just a really top-notch facility. I'm not going to blab on too much, but I'll take a little video while I'm over here and maybe just walk a little bit around this neighborhood, and we'll see what we see. That's a really nice tree over there. So this area that I wanted to go down to is kind of locked, but maybe we'll make our way around and see if there's a different kind of access that is still legal all the while. I just always find it interesting a lot of times in the architecture of these schools that they have these little crevices back here. Seems like a weird place for like a weirdo to hide or something like that. I don't know why they would have such a thing. They should gate this kind of thing off right here, but maybe that's just me saying. Main office, and it's not the main office from when I was a kid by far. It's a different kind of scenario. This is like a drop-off place. Over here they have like a kindergarten facility that didn't used to be there. I wonder if I can see inside now that I'm trying out this whole thing here. Faintly you can see into the inside, or maybe you just see the reflection. I'll probably have to take it out of the thing here to get that going. So maybe I can get a shot inside there as we go along. There's a nice little atrium back in there that has like a little serenity area. I don't know what they call it. It's like a meditation area, but it's a pretty neat thing. All right, back into the case we go. So you have to bear with me here. I'm just kind of figuring out how I'm going to navigate this thing, figure out if it's really going to be a great equipment for me to have. And there's another place to the office here. Maybe we'll get down and look at that real quick. So if you went to school here any time in the past, you're curious about what it looks on the inside. Curious about what it looks like on the inside. There you go. It says on the wall, cheetahs are. There are 70 cheetah paws hung all around the school. Huh. See, back in the day, I guess it's not politically correct anymore, but I was a chief, a Chelwood chief. Now they're Chelwood cheetahs. Here on this trail that kind of breaks away from the main area, and you got this little patch of asphalt. I'd like to say that maybe that has something to do with the original school, because we had asphalt trails that went all over the place that they laid down. I think they were just too cheap to pour concrete. But this building right here, I think it's pretty well new. It's like a little piece of brick area in there where brick was like replaced in these. It's kind of interesting. I think that this area was maybe a little part of what the original building was, but most of what you see around here is brand new. They got this pretty nice soccer field up here that leads out to the playground, and behind it there's a great big building that I used to look at when I was a kid and just be amazed by. And I'd always wanted to own that building, and it's up for sale now. I think it's like $13 million if anybody wants to like go fund me or something. But I always thought that'd be neat to have your own like bachelor pad. That's that whole building in there. It's like it's not really tall, but when you're a kid looking at it, it's huge. I think it's like 5 or 6, 7 stories or something. Pretty good enough building for me to live in with all my stuff, all my collections. Walk over here a little bit. Before I get over that way though, I wanted to take a shot at this. All right, what you see in here is definitely part of the original layout, or it was here when I was here, is this bicycle rack. It's kind of makeshift out of like steel rebar and pipe. And look, we can even go in there. Sorry about the sun. Take a look at this. Would you believe that like 35 years ago, 30 plus years ago, I used to park my bike. I'd ride to school on my bike and park right here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for me anyway. Maybe it's cool for you if you went here. It was a good school. Had a lot of good teachers. There was a teacher that I had the hots for. I'm trying to get out of the sun over here. Walk over here into the shade. Miss Horton, if you're out there listening and you remember teaching me in 5th grade, look me up. I'm on Facebook, Lucky Novaria. So yeah, I was gonna walk over this way. This whole area right here is like the new cafeteria. That wasn't here when I was here. There was like kind of a tiny cafeteria just over there in that area where I showed you. But it's not nearly as nice as like this one over here. Some kids out there playing. I don't want to film too much and make them think some weirdo's filming them. So yeah, anyway, every once in a while I like to come over here and like maybe work out or something like that. Use the monkey bars. They got some like parallel bars kind of thing for doing dips and just basic like exercises that I need to get back to get back into a better shape besides this round shape that I am. This little area by the restrooms here. You got your boys and girls restrooms. And then there's this cool water fountain that's out here. I remember when we were kids playing out here in the playground. I used to be really good at soccer. It was always good to come and take a drink. You had to wait in line in front of everybody. And then people would throw dirt in there. You know, kids would throw dirt and all kinds of stuff in there though. That thing wasn't here when I was here, but it sure looks like it's from that time period. It's pretty cool. I've been wanting to come out here and like hang upside down. I do that every once in a while. I come and hang out upside down on some of this equipment to get the compression off of my back. But there's kind of an overview of the playground. It's really great big now. I remember when I was a kid, none of this was really this way. They had some stuff, but it was that old like 1950s kind of playground equipment. And one of the cool things that we used to have was these 2 poles that used to be on arm's length apart that you could shimmy up the top of and then ring a bell. And I was one of the only kids on the playground that could actually be strong enough to get up there and ring that bell. Maybe you remember having one of those at your school. I don't know. We had the typical stuff. We had some slides and everything else, but these kids kind of got it hooked up now. They got quite a bit of stuff out here. They certainly got more of it. I can't say that it was cooler though, because the stuff that we had was pretty darn cool back then actually, now that I'm thinking back to it. We used to play hopscotch and all that kind of stuff over here. Girls would do their jump ropes kind of stuff, but it's kind of a different layout now. But if you're somebody who used to go here. Maybe it's kind of interesting to see what it looks like now. It's a pretty good looking facility. Back when I was younger, we used to like to come here after school, which is kind of funny. I don't know, is that something that you guys maybe did? Come to the school that you used to go after school? Every once in a while a teacher would like kick us out, tell us, go home, come back tomorrow. It's kind of funny, go to a place all day that you don't want to be and then just come back here to play when you're done. But we used to jump up on the roof when we were kids. It's kind of a fun thing to do. I'm not going to do that today, but maybe I will. But yeah, we used to find like the balls and everything that used to get kicked up on the roof, like footballs and kickballs, basketballs, whatever. But there's something pretty interesting over this way. That's kind of a New Mexico thing. I wonder if this kind of happens in other states. Check this out. Like you're in the military or something. Always kind of makes me laugh looking back. They call them barracks. I had no context for what that really was back then, but they're portable buildings for when the school is pretty much just outgrown in number of students. And then they put the overflow in classrooms that are called barracks, like these ones right here. I went to school in a few of those. Actually, at the school, I went to some of the mainline portions that were attached to the school classrooms, but then alternately I took some classes that were in these like portable trailer buildings. But it's not to say that they were bad. They were okay. Got cold in the winter though, seem to remember. These teachers seem to do a lot of projects a lot of times with the kids over here at these schools. I noticed that when I walk through them, sometimes I notice that they got little planters and stuff like that. These are kind of dying out here because of maybe the weather or whatever. But this school actually has like a little area where they were growing. It's like a school project where they were growing like vegetables and stuff like that. I'm just totally about that. I think that's way cool. There's all these kind of areas. Well, maybe that brings back memories for somebody out there. It sure does for me a little bit. Let's see what this says over here. President's Day Challenge. Start collecting your coins today and fill up your carton. 1 cent makes a lot of sense. Huh. I don't know what that's for. Kind of a little area here where they painted the rocks. Remember waiting for school to start or coming back from recess? You had to wait for the teacher because the door would be locked. You'd be lined up down one of these ramps, waiting in line. Remember getting in fights, stuff with my friends. We get in pretty serious fights. That's how it was, kind of back in the day. Had a lot of fist fights. It's kind of funny. This row of trees that's here around the back perimeter of the school was planted back in 1987 here when they built these sort of townhouses that are beyond that bunch of brush there that you can't see. Let's see if I can get a little better look over there. I'll peek my phone over the fence. So that little area was like newly built when I went to school here. And to sort of shelter the whole thing from the school, because, you know, maybe they thought that a lot of people didn't want to live right across the street from a school and all the noise of children yelling. They planted these trees. So it's interesting, those trees over there that are great big, they would have been planted around that time too. Now they're huge. That's how much a tree grows in about 30 some years, a little over 30 years. Inside this little area here kind of meets back into a central area that connects the kind of circular nature of the school. And there's a little area where those stairs go down. I kind of showed you there in the beginning. But this one's all behind Mars. So look, there's the dumpster. Find that we're being watched everywhere that we go, so we better not do anything. You don't do anything illegal, because I don't want to be an accomplice after the fact. Just around here in this area, there used to be a teacher kind of in this area that isn't anything anymore called named Mr. T. It's kind of funny. He was like an Italian guy, I think, and he had like an Italian name and you couldn't pronounce it, but everybody called him Mr. T. It was kind of funny because we all thought about Mr. T from the A-Team, but he didn't look anything like that. That's kind of funny. So we got another locked gate over here. I kind of wanted to go down there and show you those stairs. They're really kind of neat, but I don't know if we're going to get around to that in this video. Maybe we'll come back. Periodically, this thing is open, you know, and you don't have to like break the law to get in there or whatever. So maybe we'll check it out then. I don't know. Even after school over here, they got a place for you to tie up your horse. Sometimes the kids here in Albuquerque ride horses. They got those little tiny ponies. They're like Shetland ponies. What do you call them? I don't know. I think this is kind of interesting, or at least when I was a kid, I would have kind of found it kind of interesting how this whole area is just like kind of vacant now. But then this huge hill right here washes into right into the sidewall. It's kind of a big downhill thing. That'd be something that when I was a kid, we'd probably like ride our bikes down, or I don't know, hang around over here, smoke cigarettes. I was fascinated with these things when I kind of see them, these little dug in pieces of area that are for like irrigation or something like that. The water runs into here. Periodically you can come through here during the year and see this, like, you know, after a rain or something, you'll see it filled with water. And I imagine a bunch of turtles live in there. I don't know. Maybe that's only in my imagination. Right here inside this little hallway, my daughter's classroom was over here, I believe. Or am I mistaken? I feel like it was right over here. But she got to go to school here too. New Mexico has like the most beautiful sunsets of anywhere that I've really ever been, you know. And it's getting ready to be about that time, so can't make it too far around the neighborhood. But this little area right here, I'm standing where the library is, you know, still. But they would have had to like taken out the ground and plowed like a whole lot of earth in here, because my classroom was right in here. When I was a kid, I started here in like the 3rd grade or something, coming from another school in another place. And what am I trying to say? I got a friend, you know, they assigned me a buddy here, like a class buddy, to help me around and teach me where things were at the school, and when to come back from recess, and where to get water, where to go to the bathroom, where to go get lunch, you know, whatever. And then that was my friend. His name was Brad Fry. And back in 1987, he was shot in this neighborhood. And we lived right down the street from each other. We used to play and ride bikes together. And he lived right down the street from here. And some kid who was a teenager pointed a rifle out of the apartment window he lived in. It's right down the road right there, and shot him right in the head. That was kind of a difficult thing for me growing up, you know. During that time, I didn't really understand. I'd seen some pretty violent things that had happened from other places that we lived before, and shootings and all kinds of stuff, but nobody ever shot one of us, you know. Nobody shot my friend. And, knock on wood, I didn't get shot. I'm still over here in this area nowadays. There's something about this neighborhood out here that just kind of has a special thing. It's not the most popular neighborhood in Albuquerque. It's not the richest neighborhood in the Albuquerque. It's not the poorest neighborhood in Albuquerque. And believe me, I've lived all around Albuquerque. If you're from here, you might be familiar with the area. But I lived in the South Valley. I lived, near the West Side. Northeast, Southeast Heights. I've lived around quite a few places and in Rio Rancho. So I kind of settled down over here for now. Just while my kids are growing up. They're teenagers now, so it won't be long before they're sick of me and want to be out of the house. But I'm not trying to push too hard for that time to come. I'm just enjoying my family while I have the opportunity to have them, The sun keeps on blotting out a lot of this stuff. But I came here. I'm going to put this down and I'm going to talk in a separate place. All right. Found me kind of a nice, quiet place to sit down. Might hear the birds in the background. Hopefully they're playing a pretty nice tune. So what I was going to say is that a few years back, maybe in like 2012-ish, I was kind of in a violent lifestyle. When I say violent, I kind of mean I was more violent to myself. Some of the things were violent to my family. I wasn't hitting my family or anything like that. I'm not like a kind of a person that, I'm not a monster or anything that would hit their family. But I did do, a lot of yelling and everything else. Wasn't in a really great place. I was in a motorcycle club and I was like going out till late hours of the night and drinking and kind of stumbling to my bike and driving myself home drunk and stuff, which is pretty much kind of a monster thing to do, I guess. It's not a laughing thing or anything, but during that time my daughter had a birthday party for herself, I think, or maybe a family member, over here at the Hinkle Family Fun Center that's right here behind, just up the way from the school, not too far off. And after that party, I had the opportunity to ride over here, and I parked my bike, and I got down, and I started walking around the school, and it was like right after the school was renovated, so really, essentially nothing from the time that I went here was left over as far as like building wise, except for like the library over there. That's not even original part of the school, but I just all these memories, they started coming to me, and I could hear like, playground sounds, pictures going through my head, just all these memories flashing back at me. And then as I was walking along, this voice came to me, and it was my friend Brad. And I had been doing like some contemplation about what I was doing in my life and what was going to happen in the afterlife. And this voice of his came to me and said, "No, don't worry about it. Every day in the afterlife is like the sun always on your face, and you're warm inside, and you're happy, and you get to live every moment that was happy in your life over and over again for eternity, and it's impossible to not be happy." And I just heard it like clear as a bell. It was like a ghost, And right about now you probably think I'm crazy or whatever, but that time really, like that happened, really had an effect on me up to this very day. I think about it a lot. I think about it every time that I come over here. I think about it when I look in this neighborhood and all the changes, and but it gave me a lot of hope. It caused me to kind of stop doing some of the stuff that I was doing. It kind of helped me to taper off that lifestyle and get back to raising my family and trying to do things right. And it's not to say that everything has kind of come out right from there, but I've been kind of on the right path, or on a better path since then. At least I've been on one where I feel like later when I meet God, I'm going to be a little bit more in a position to say at least I was trying. See, there was motorcycles in the background there. I don't know if you could hear them. Those are not the kind that I like. But anyway, maybe you can hear them. I don't know if they came across on the microphone. Here's the kind that I like. There's a cruiser going by. But anyway, not to turn this into a big preachy thing, but I always like to, in some of my videos, have a word about God. I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. And that's not to say that I don't think that people don't have the right to choose who their God is. But for me personally, I've chosen to worship Jesus ever since the time that I was a kid. I believe that He's out there, and I believe that if you're lonely and that you're having a hard time in your life, if you reach out for Him and seek Him with your heart, that you'll find each other and have a great relationship with God. But that's only a little bit of encouragement. If there's somebody out there that is in a bad place in their life, maybe Brad's words will help you, because I believe that they're true. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video. I'm still over here at the school property. I couldn't get down into some of those places that I wanted to go because gates weren't open and stuff, and I didn't feel like jumping the fence. But if you like these kind of videos, if you want to see something in this kind of area that I haven't shown, or something that you know about that's cool to go look at, give me a shout in the comments, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. I'll be doing a few more videos like this in this area and some areas around town, and then I'm going to get outside of town. I'm going to be going up to a place called Carlito Springs, maybe as early as this weekend, if not maybe next weekend. But it's a really great place to see, and hopefully you'll get some shots of that beautiful scenery out there, and my kids will be with me, so that'll be a little bit fun, maybe a little bit more fun to watch, me hanging out with my family instead of me hanging out on my own over here. But if you like what you're seeing, give me a shot at watching the next video, and maybe subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. There's all these cool painted rocks everywhere around here. It's kind of neat. I think must be a fun thing to do.